Good afternoon. Call to order this regular meeting of the San Bernardino International Airport Authority this Wednesday, November 28th. Before we go into closed session, I ask if there's anybody here to speak on the closed session items. Clerk of the board?
No speakers.
No speakers. All right, we will recess to closed session. We now are back in open session. We will go ahead and begin. Ask for a reporting out of closed session. Council?
No reportable action was taken in closed session.
Thank you. This time we've asked Ovi Popescu to offer our Pledge of Allegiance. Please all stand.
Please join me as we celebrate our nation's flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States.
Thank you. Any items to be added or deleted to the agenda?
No item, sir.
Thank you. Any conflicts of interest to be disclosed at this time? Seeing none, we'll turn the time over to the Executive Director for informational items.
Mr. Mayor, if I might, I forgot to make one correction to the audible record.
I'm sorry, it's too late.
In closed session, let's see, it was Supervisor Ramos was not in attendance for item B as in Bravo on the closed session agenda, and Councilmember Lilburn was not in attendance for items A, B, and C
Thank you.
on closed session.
Thank you for that correction. Mr. Burrows?
Okay. Well, with the holidays upon us, I expect all of us have had an opportunity to spend some time with friends and family, and today we get to do a little bit more of that. So it is with a bit of joy and a lot of sadness that we have to say farewell for a brief time to somebody that's truly been part of the SBD family, and that is Consul Rosas, who has for the last several years been a big part of what this airport has tried to do and has done. He is moving on to bigger and better things, but is always part of the SBD family. And we have a small memento to honor him with, so he does not forget us as he becomes more and more important in his career. So I'd like to read that briefly and have him come forward, and then if the commission is amenable, honor that with a photograph or two for our own memories. So on behalf of SBD International Airport, in appreciation of your significant contributions to international trade and economic growth within the local community and region, to Consul Enrique Salomon Rosas Ramirez, City of San Bernardino, our heartfelt thanks for expanding SBD's worldwide presence and for our new friends and family in Mexico here on this date at the airport 2018. So, Consul, if you would, please.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you all. You are very kind. As you know, Mexico's new government takes office next Saturday, December 1st. And my post as Consul of Mexico in San Bernardino, California ends. It has been almost 3 years of intensive work providing protection, documentation, health, and educational services to the Mexican community that adopted these inland empires as their home, but also promoting Mexico in the Southern California and promoting California in Mexico. One of our main challenges is focus in increase the trade and serve as efficient link to connect the business community of both countries. Our job and the work done have been possible thanks to the support of our friends as yourselves, who understand our mission and help us to reach our goals. It is very important for me to highlight the invaluable meaning of having you as an ally of the Consulate of Mexico. Allow me in this opportunity to thank all your support, solidarity, and friendship. It has been one of the most satisfying experiences of my life. Thank you. Thank you so much. Let me tell you that the extraordinary team of this consulate will continue working in all of the programs, including, of course, the economic development headed by my good friend, the Consul Jorge Leiva, and the Consul Hugo René Oliva, that he's going to be in charge of the office in these months. And all this work will remain ongoing. This region of Southern California is really important to Mexico, and I'm sure that our nations will have great benefits in the near future with the new Mexican government. Mayor Davis, thank you for your continuous support in many, many activities that we had when in this experience that I have as the head consul of Mexico, but particularly in the program Start Your Own Business Workshop, Emprendedores, that we run together, the consulate and the city. Now, more than 50 families have the tools to start their own business, and some of them are now creating new jobs in San Bernardino and other cities in the Inland Empire. With my good friends in the county, the supervisors, thank you for all your work and for all your support to the consulate. With the supervisors, we caught the attention of Mexican airlines, freight forwarders, customs brokers that want to use the airport facilities. Thank you especially to my good friend Josie Gonzalez for everything. Josie has been a great support to me. My sincere recognition to my friends Mike Burrows and Mark Gibbs, Batman and Robin. You are an incredible team. Thank you. Thank you, both of you. Your dedication and commitment to make things happen is outstanding. This place, I know, is in very good hands. To all of you, my gratitude, and I'm sure we'll see each other again. As the wise philosopher Sheriff Woody from Toy Story said, you have a friend in me. For sure, I'm going to miss you. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Consul.
Thank you, Council Rosas. We, on behalf of the board, want to thank you also for the great work that you've done in our community. The relationships that you've built amongst the community has been very valuable, and we wish you well and look forward to future engagement together with you. So thank you once again.
So with that, I also have to say something about the consul and his team. when we say they're part of the SBD family, that actually includes the SBD Fest family. And they have been ardent supporters of our event since the infancy and have never missed a single one, and we can't thank you enough. And because you're part of the SBD Fest family, I want you to hear how we did this past year. So Ms. Pritchett, who did an amazing job keeping this in one piece somehow, some way, has a bit of an update on how we did. So Kat, again, hats off, well done.
Thank you.
And Bill, keep counting. Yeah.
Excellent. Jen, if you could start the video. Take credit for that video, but we had an amazing relationship with Quaid, Harley Davidson, and Loma Linda, who actually facilitated having that video made for us this year. So just an amazing snapshot of the success that we had this year. We are proud to report that SBD Fest was yet another successful and safe year. Our attendance numbers preliminarily are coming in at just over 12,000 for the 2 days, which is a significant increase of what we have seen. We would like to first say thank you to the IVDA and SBIAA teams. Everyone on our staff, everyone on payroll had at least one job, sometimes multiple jobs, and everyone did just a fantastic job at not only facilitating everything that needed to be done for Air Show, but also maintaining the agency's business as well. So our team did an incredible job this year. Thank you to our sponsors. We have to give some recognition to our amazing sponsors that came in. Stater Brothers Markets is a valued family member of SBD Fest. Unical MRO, always there to provide us with everything that we forgot on the airfield. The Salmonwell Band of Mission Indians, Southern California Toyota dealers, Red Bull, Gate City provided our beer, K-Cal Cola, Hot 103.9, Robertson's Ready Mix, County Fire, and the City of San Bernardino staff were essential partners in this, and we love their partnerships. The Unforgettables Foundation was our partnering nonprofit this year, and we will be presenting them with a check for their contribution and their support for our event. And we had an amazing support committee this year that was actively engaged for over 6 months in the planning process. It was definitely a group effort, and the effort and the results panned out because we had an amazing event. The air show had a bigger military presence than we've seen in the past with the A-10 and the F-18s. If you were fortunate enough to be around for the impromptu exit and departure of the F-18s Sunday afternoon, that was an impressive way to close out the day. Our social media campaign exploded with the help of Jackhammer Movement. We reached over 150,000 people via our Facebook page alone this year, which is an incredible feat for us. Revenue numbers, Bill is still counting the beans in their back office back there, but they're looking excellent this year. Our concessions were up approximately 50%. Beer and water alone were up almost 75%. Ticket revenue exceeded what we've seen in the past. So as soon as we have all of our numbers reconciled, we will be prepared to prepare a report to the commission on our success there. We would like to thank the commission for all of your support. Well, without you, obviously, this would not be possible for us to promote this amazing event to our community. We've had amazing feedback this year. Everyone was unilaterally excited about the event for both days. We had something different each day, and we were really happy to hear all the feedback that we've had. Moving forward, we're growing, we're learning, so any feedback from the commission, please send to either Monette Mendoza or me, and we would be happy to discuss any ideas we have for the future. But we appreciate you taking the time to hear our recap and your ongoing support, and I'm happy to answer any questions about the air shows, past, present, or future. Thank you.
Thank you. We do appreciate the hard effort that was put into making it once again a success. Any comments from commissioners?
Great job.
Thank you.
All right, I just wanted to acknowledge one other individual here. He is a familiar face, but as you know, we're pretty busy these days, and to keep up with our commitments in the international arena, Mr. Fred Latapariza has agreed to assist us as our international trade advisor. He has been our eyes and ears in many sectors, and personally, Fred, I just want to say thank you for, doing your part, helping out, and I really appreciate it. So.
Thank you.
And you happen to have a pretty good turkey trot, I got to say.
Yes, would you like to report on that briefly?
No, you might want to.
It was another very successful turkey trot that was held on Thanksgiving Day. Started at about 7 a.m. in the morning. I believe there were nearly 700 participants this year. It continues to grow. I had the distinct pleasure of teaming up with Mike Burrows as my running mate, and we did a fairly good time. We came in second amongst the females division. Not quite. I'm not quite sure how we got categorized into that, but we came in fifth overall. Our time was approximately 27 minutes. I represented about 20 minutes of that 27 minutes. But we had a good time. It was very well attended. Once again, it was a great event, and we thank the airport for being able to host it. So thank you.
A lot of fun. And thank you to the staff. Airport staff came out in force, and I got to say that Mr. Gibbs was beaten by his son, Langston, but so was I. So that concludes our reports.
Thank you. It was a great event. All right, we'll move on to consent calendar items number 3 through 12. Do we have a motion to move the consent calendar?
Move items 3 through 12.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any opposition? Seeing none, they're so approved.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Council.
for everything.
Have a great day.
I'll share your regards with Supervisor Gonzalez.
Thank you, Supervisor. Next, we will move to item number 13. This is to consider and adopt proposed budget amendments for fiscal year 2018. This will be presented by Mr. Garay.
Yes, thank you. On page 78, item 13, staff proposes budget adjustments to increase and decrease certain expenditures for the fiscal 18-19 year, as detailed in the proposed budget adjustments table on page 79. Going to page 79. 79 reflects the proposed budget adjustments table. You'll see a number of items A through J listed out. I'll start off with stating that the budget adjustments proposal is cost neutral. In other words, there are no increases or decreases to the budget itself overall as a result of these adjustments. Starting off with line A, General Fund, Terminal Parking Ops, IT Equipment and Communications. We propose to reduce that particular account by $50,000 and essentially shift that $50,000 over to the next two lines, B and C, the General Fund for Control Towers, IT Equipment and Communications, which happens to be a new account, and also to line item C, FBO Fund, IT Equipment and Communications, also a new account. You'll see on the proposed adjustments column the $40,000 and $10,000 increase in those two line items, along with the $50,000 reduction in the first line A. Line item D, General Fund Security Vehicle Replacement. We're proposing to reduce that account by $30,000 and funding a new account for a vehicle replacement for network services. So we're shifting $30,000 between those two accounts. Going on to line item F, we're increasing the General Insurance Fund Workers' Comp as a result of some adjustments to our insurance rates. And then offsetting that increase is the next item, General Fund Insurance, reducing that account by the same amount, $15,000. Line item H, Capital Project Fund, transfers to IBDA. It's a new account, $370,000. This is to fund the Gate 1 Road namely Jurgensen Construction Company, to construct that road off of Tippy of $295,000, which is the next line item you see. And that line item I is reducing the capital projects fund road improvements for the airport by $295. Line item J, capital project fund, asphalt, crack, fog, and slurry seal, is a reduction in that budget, again, to fund that $370,000 line item H. And that is for the Northgate parking lots for treating the ground so that parking can take place. As you can see, the net effect of all these adjustments is zero. So we've moved money from one account to another to offsets and increases to be able to accommodate these additional expenditures as indicated on these projects. That concludes my report, unless you have any questions.
I have a question related to item number H.
Yes.
The $370,000, the funding source for that, is that grant funding, or is that?
No, it's not grant funding.
That's capital funds that were
It's from
held
the
in
capital
SBIAA's
Right.
capital projects fund.
And it'll be transferred to IVDA?
To IVDA,
To
because
I-
IVDA was the lead agency on the Tippecanoe improvements. It had the lion's share of the funding. This is a matching contribution from SBIAA.
And the road improvements that it's going to be taken from, will that be completed?
So what we
Or
did
you don't need
is
it for
we're
that?
de-obligating it here because IVDA is taking over the project.
Okay, so it's the same work?
It is.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from the commissioners? We have a motion to approve item number 13. Thank you. We have a second? Second. Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any opposition? Seeing none, item number 13 is approved. Thank you. Next is item number 14. This is to review and approve updated procedures and supporting documents for the San Bernardino International Airport Authority consistent with previously approved authority policies. Catherine Pritchett will present this item.
Thank you. Throughout the year, updates and modifications are made to the SBIAA policies and procedures to ensure that they are consistent with state and federal laws, the commission adopted policies and procedures, and the actual day-to-day operations of the agency. At this time, we are going to report on some of the more significant changes made to these policies and request your authorization to approve them as a document in its entirety. Four of our policies were modified this year. Personnel was modified in a number of ways. In the backup, you will see a number of red lines to that document, and a primary reason for those changes was to ensure that the formatting of the document is consistent with the personnel policies that we have with the Inland Valley Development Agency. So there's no confusion between the agencies on policies and procedures in regard to personnel. Primarily of those changes is the addition of language regarding the swipe clock software automated time and attendance program. We have gone from the old school method of handwriting our time cards to an actual clock in, clock out automated system, which reduces a lot of the errors that we've seen in the past and streamlines a lot of the processes we have for payroll. In addition to that, we have the recognition of an alternative work week, which I believe all of our partner agencies offer. Our airport operations team is currently on a 4-10 work schedule. We also now offer our maintenance team and our administrative team the opportunity to participate in the 980 work schedule. So that is referenced in these new policies. The next significant changes we saw were our purchasing policies and procedures. There was one change made by the recommendation of the Director of Finance to change the maximum purchasing limits without executive director approval from 500 to 1,000, which is typical for public agency processes. We had a couple changes to the IT policies and procedures this year, and that was primarily to memorialize more stringent security measures to our cyber processes. And a new addition to our policies and procedures is the airport security standard operating policies and procedures. We have modernized our security model for the airport, and with that, the new airport security manager, Jack Davidson, developed a security standard operation policy that will guide the day-to-day operations of the airport security officers. With that, there are other changes. I'd be happy to answer any questions that the commission might have.
Thank you. Any questions from the commissioners? I have one on page 121 and 123. Under section 3, holidays, and then also on the floating holiday. There's language there that is part of the change, I believe. It's indicated in red. It indicates employees in full-time permanent positions, and then it makes reference to that also on page 123, employees in full-time permanent position. The word permanent, is that a required? Is that something that's makes it some differentiation between that and full-time, or is that common practice to use permanent as a description of the category of full-time?
We do have full-time positions that are considered temporary. We have opportunities for staff to come in and work. We have one member of our staff that has a contract with us or an employment agreement with us through the end of the fiscal year. So that would be a full-time temporary position and not eligible for some of the benefits that we offer our full-time permanent employees.
Okay, so the description of full-time temporary then has some distinction between that and full-time permanent for benefits, and that's what the reason, the need for showing that distinction.
Correct.
All right, thank you.
There's a defined termination of their employment contract for the full-time temporary,
Thank you.
of course.
Through the chair.
Councilman.
So just
Supervisor.
clarification on that. So contract employees are contract employees that don't engage in full benefits that permanent employees do from this organization. Is that correct?
Correct. They're not considered contract so much as they are on our payroll. They are
Okay.
not 1099. But because they're of their temporary status, similar to part-time employees, they are not eligible for some of the benefits that we do offer.
But they're based on a contract versus employment packet to this organization?
It's an employment agreement.
So would it be better to create a category that calls that as far as the contract employees, full-time contract employees versus permanent employees because of the benefits that apply to there?
We can look into revising the language,
Thank you.
of course.
Thank you, Supervisor.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to recognize one of the alternate members for a
Yes.
question from the podium.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I, like you, don't like the word permanent. In our business, in my business, we use the term regular employee. A permanent implies something longer term, necessarily. So I think if you look at the labor code, you can make a distinction between part-time and regular employees rather than saying permanent.
Yeah, and that's a good point of clarification. Just a reminder that all of our employees, are at will. And so regular is a term that we can incorporate in the document. So we
Okay,
appreciate that.
very good. So if we can make that change, do you want to make that recommendation in adopting this? That we change that to regular, full-time regular?
I think regular, and then ensuring the contract stipulation on some of the employees that are there, so that we have a clear understanding of those that are here under benefits and those that are here under an agreement as far as employment
Of course.
that's there. We make a motion to approve with those points of clarification and ensuring that all terminology meets within the labor law.
Of course. And once finalized, these policies and procedures are available with the clerk of the board and with my office as well.
Thank you.
Very good, thank you.
And if state law changes, we get to do this again next October. So.
Yes.
So did you need a motion on that?
You've made a
I
motion, we
the
just need a
motion.
second. Thank you, we have a motion and a second. Any opposition? All right, item number 14 is approved. Next is item number 15, but if the commission will permit, I'd like to move to item number 16 first, and then we'll take up item number 15 for the resolutions. Item number 16 is to discuss the updated action plan for the San Bernardino International Airport Authority through December 31st, 2018.
Okay, so where we are presently is, as a staff, reassessing where we're at for this year's strategic plan objectives. Of course, that gets reported out per your direction at the fiscal year but we always do a 6-month look back, and you will see at your next agenda some of the highlights of what has been accomplished thus far in the year. We are on track going into next meeting to have the SBIAA audit, at least the financial audit, completed. So Mr. Garay and team have been hard at work on getting that ready for presentation, and that includes an updated annual report on behalf of the commission itself. Just a point of note that the single audit, that is tied to federal awards, due to some staff changes within the firm, will be presented just after first of the year. But it is being done. We are actually going to take the financial audit first this year, and that is the most important item for us at present. So,
And will that be provided on the meeting of the 18th, or?
So we expect the financial audit will be on the 18th, and then the single audit would trail that just after first of the year.
Thank you.
That concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Any questions for the Executive Director? All right. We'll go back now to item number 15, to adopt resolutions of the San Bernardino International Airport Authority in recognition of the services of the City of San Bernardino, City of Colton, and San Bernardino County 3rd District Supervisor Representatives. And so it gives me pleasure to be able to read these resolutions, and then we will combine present them. One is to Councilmember Virginia Marquez, and the other one is to Mayor Richard De La Rosa and to James Ramos. And so if I can read these, and then we'll read one, and then we will make the distribution. Whereas James Ramos, Virginia Marquez, and Richard De La Rosa were first elected to serve, well, he was elected to serve in the 3rd District for the County of San Bernardino in 2012 to represent the communities of the Morongo Basin, Big Bear Valley, and portions of the Inland Valley and High Desert. Supervisor Ramos was reelected to serve a second term in 2016, and whereas Supervisor Ramos, during his tenure on the Board of Supervisors, has represented the City of San Bernardino as a member of the San Bernardino International Airport Authority Commission since 2013, and has been actively involved in directing the issues of military base reuse and revitalization activities impacting the former Norton Air Force Base and the region during his tenure on the San Bernardino International Airport Authority Commission, and has invested substantial time and effort to assist in the economic development achievements of the San Bernardino International Airport Authority for the benefit of the County of San Bernardino, while ensuring the preservation of the rich heritage that has established, held, and advanced the progress of Norton Air Force Base, and has been instrumental in garnering and focusing economic, fiscal business, and community input and interest throughout his service while enhancing the public-private partnership with Hillwood Development that has brought a multitude of Fortune 100 and 500 companies and other nationally recognized firms such as Kohl's, Mattel, Pep Boys, Medline Industries, Stater Brothers Markets, PepsiCo, Unical, Amazon, and most recently UPS and FedEx to the former Norton Air Force Base. He has consistently striven to increase employment opportunities in the region as he has exercised his practice of devotion and leadership in all matters. These efforts have brought substantial investment in buildings and improvements to the former military base. He's been instrumental in developing the policies leading to an excess of $1.6 billion of private investment to the area. He has tirelessly represented the interests and citizens, taxpayers, companies, and agencies in the region, and has had the vision to foresee the development and economic potential of the airport through infrastructure, roadway upgrades, establishing opportunities for expanded aviation and foreign trade facilities at the San Bernardino International Airport. Through these efforts and collaborative leadership, he has helped with the Joint Powers Authority to achieve fiscal and operational success, attracting and retaining over 11,575 jobs and supporting over 14.2 million square feet of development at the former Norton Air Force Base, now generating over $2.3 billion in economic output for our community. Now, therefore, be it resolved this 28th day of November that the San Bernardino International Airport Authority hereby joins with friends, families, and colleagues in commending James Ramos, Virginia Marquez, and Richard De La Rosa for their tireless efforts and dedication to this region and the goals of the authority, and in bringing into reality the successful conversion of the former Norton Air Force Base to civilian reuse. Be it further resolved that this resolution be noted in the official minutes of the San Bernardino International Airport Authority and presented this day in appreciation of your exemplary service to this airport. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes. We'd like to all come down to the well and present these. Did we lose Virginia?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, we got to adjourn.
Before we conclude, I'd like to invite the supervisor, if you'd like to say a few remarks, and Mayor De La Rosa.
Well, thank you, Mayor, and it's been a great privilege serving on the Airport Authority Board. When we first got elected, we really pushed along with the board members to do a study marketing plan to gauge direction as far as where this board and where we were headed. And we did a series of market studies and presentations to this board to start to gauge direction as far as where we were going. And it was through collaboration that we identified the components that now fill our agenda and some of our discussion as far as future development here on the area. It has allowed for the growth. And we just, one of the last meetings we did, we approved an EIR study for the potential for almost 3,800 new jobs coming into this area. And it really is to the testament of the collaboration of the members here on this commission to work together to move forward with a marketing plan from the industry, not so much any one individual, but an industry that's saying, here's what we need, and giving clear direction to our staff and executive directors on realistic goals to achieve. That's what's making this airport authority moving forward and getting a lot of the business contacts and the awareness that it needs to continue to move forward. Make no mistake, this is moving forward. And I'm not going too far away because this airport lies within the Assembly 40th District. So anything that's coming up in the state, please give us a call because we're here to help. We're here to see our community grow. So thank you, and thank you to each and every one of the members that are here for your support throughout the years and the continued support in the many more years.
Thank you.
He's right. No, you know, when I came onto this board, there's a lot of projects going on and a lot of discussions between the board members, and we all have our different ways of doing business and our different thoughts and things like that. But with staff such as Mark and Mike and Catherine and everybody else, you guys kind of seem to make us focus down because we're all running our own cities and our own agencies, and it's tough to come here and change hats every other week. But with your leadership and your knowledge and your passion for making this airport and the IVDA a place that other states, other agencies look at as, hey, they're doing things over there. I really appreciate all your help, and continue to grow this airport along with this board and any new board members that come on. We have a real goal, a jewel here in San Bernardino, in the Inland Empire. And if we continue to listen to each other and reach out to each other and communicate, we're going to be very proud of what the assembly member-elect will help us grow. So I want to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart, all the board members, past and current, that are here. One of us can't do it. It takes all of us to make sure we grow this airport in this area for good jobs, good roads, good infrastructure, and just like I say, a jewel that we can all be proud of. So thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor and Assemblyman-elect and Mayor De La Rosa. We do appreciate the great work that you've added to the value of this board, and the insight that you've brought, and your consistent support of the efforts on behalf of the San Bernardino International Airport Authority. So we are grateful for all of your hard effort. And any other council or commissioners wish to have any comments?
I just wanted to say thank you to the council members and the mayor and James for your guidance and having the pleasure to sit on this board, this commission with you. James, don't forget where you came from. Don't get up there and go silly with the rest of them. And we'll be looking for your support and your guidance and all your help in the near future. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I was just going to echo the sentiment of all of you. You've all been very instrumental. One of the things that it's interesting to note that all of us sit on different cities and all have significant issues in each city that we have to deal with. And some of you have, much more contentious city issues than here, but this is the one place that's almost like a refuge where you come in and everybody's pretty much on the same page. There really isn't any controversy. And I think that's a testament to both of you. You were very easy to work with. Not that your predecessors weren't, but it really helps all of us when we're all kind of see the same vision and work to the same goal. And a testament of what we're achieving and continue to achieve is that. So you'll be dearly missed, but you're not going far. So I'm sure we're going to run into you in one capacity or another. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, may I say one more thing? I'm sorry. I was remiss. I wanted to say thank you to Kat for a great job on the San Bernardino Airfest. You did a fantastic job with it.
Councilman Schreck?
I have the exact same words to say that have all been said here. The thing that I've appreciated more than anything in my tenure as a council member and a board member here and working with county and other cities and these agencies, the JPAs, is the people that I've gotten to know and meet. And it's not just been colleagues that we work and all work together to do things, but have really become friends. And again, I wish you the best in retirement. I think you said something about you're going to take a little time off and then come back. James, to you, I wish you the very best in your up at the assembly. And again, we're going to need you up there. So I like what Penny said. Don't go crazy with those people up there. Let's bring California back. But anyway, I do appreciate your knowledge and efforts and everything that you've done and getting to know you and working with you. I've had the honor of having the tribe in my ward in the city of San Bernardino, and so I got to know you back then when I was first elected. I've worked closely with Jerry and the tribe, and they've been such a great asset to our community, just as this has. And getting to meet the whole staff here, that's been the joy of my 70 years. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And if I might just remark on behalf of the staff, it's not often said, but our job is challenging at times, but at times it's a lot of fun. And I can't tell you how many times I hear from our team across the board how easy it is to work for you, and that's because you are accessible. As busy as you know, particularly you have been, you do answer the phone at the middle of the night, respond to the text and the message, and show up when it matters. And we can't do our job without that. And it's important that you're recognized for supporting your teams, not just here, but also within your day job. And that's not easy to balance. And people need to know that. I also refrain from putting in the resolutions that you are also two people that actually knew what Luxaver was, and you still liked it, and now you live it. So we really appreciate that, and the entire team over there. So again, thank you for your leadership, and we are better for you. And good luck on your future endeavors.
Well, thank you. I do appreciate all the sentiments that have been expressed, and Mayor De La Rosa, when I heard him talk about the jewel that this is, that really is very appropriate description of the San Bernardino International Airport here in our region. And so thank you for helping to recognize that. So on behalf of the commission, this meeting is adjourned until December 18th.
Okay.
That's it.